Good morning, everyone. I am Master Sergeant Gunter, and I currently work at ARPC in the retirement section. And I want to thank each of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend the Introduction to myFSS Retirement Application. The purpose of our training today is to realistically get you familiar with the system, get you exposed to what the system is about, so that you know how to log into the myFSS platform. You know how to navigate within the myFSS platform to find the retirement application, to apply for a retirement, to help others apply for a retirement, and then to subsequently coordinate on the retirement application, both from the vantage point of the application or the applicant, the retention office manager, talent management consultant, or the commander. We will also speak about the change date withdrawal request process because that has changed from the older system. And we will have, at the very end of this, Major Eggman speak about some initiatives so that you are all tracking the most up-to-date information. Before I begin my speaking, I'm going to play a training video, and this video will show you how to log in, how a member needs to work through the application, and then how they will coordinate their application to the ROM. Without further ado, let us begin.
This video is for all reserve component personnel as a brief demonstration on how to submit a reserve retirement application on the myFSS platform. We begin by navigating to the myFSS front page at myfss.us.af.mil. And here we have three choices. Our normal everyday login will be CAC login. If we do not have a CAC ID, we could choose first time non-CAC user registration to receive a user ID and password, and then choose non-CAC login from there. Click CAC login. Click sign in with PIV/CAC card. Choose your certificate. Click I agree, continue. You are now on the myFSS front page. Let's begin by adding or verifying your personal email address. Click the top right profile icon, then select profile. Then update personal email address. Here you can add up to 2 email addresses in order to receive notifications of your retirement application as it's being processed. Click the edit icon and enter your email address, then click save, then close. Now scroll down to the available now area and locate the My Retirement tile. Click to open, and you're now at the retirement home screen. Here you can select career calculators or ARC retirements. We'll select ARC retirements. You are now in your ARC retirements application. The first thing you will see is retirement information knowledge articles and cheat sheets. Scrolling down, we have options, including a point credit summary. There's a link to take you directly to the virtual MPF. Waiver process information. Currently active applications. If you have an application in the system awaiting your action, it will be displayed here. If it is currently in coordination, it will be displayed here. You can only have one application in process at once. And once ARPC finalizes your application, it'll be moved over into the completed area. Let's begin the application process. Clicking Begin Application Process. Let's begin our application by reviewing the pre-application information. This is very valuable knowledge and important to review. Click to expand, and you have 6 sections. Section 1, Mandatory Separation Date, High Year of Tenure Date. Click to open. Review information, and check this box to understand and acknowledge the information above. Then on to Section 2, Retirement Introduction and Pre-Application. Review all 4 retirement types. Each section has a box verifying you understand and acknowledge the information above. Then on to Section 3, Pre-Application Information. Then Section 4, Retirement Restrictions. On to Section 5, Withdrawal, Cancellation, or Change of Retirement Effective Date. And finally, Section 6, Choosing a Retirement Effective Date. All information you just reviewed answers the majority of questions and is the most current policy guidance. Once you check the final you'll notice your pre-application information box becomes a check mark. And now you may return back to dashboard, view coordination chain, progress, or begin the application. Start application. And you now see member application actions. Expand. Here we have 4 areas that require your information. Let's start by application information and select our retirement type, reserve retirement. Enter all required information. These tooltips are for further detail. Then collapse area. Next, we have member contact information. And again, enter all your requested information. Check this box, mailing address different from residential address. And close this section. Next, we have retirement certificate information. Click to open. This information is what will be your retirement certificate. Use NMN for no middle initial and spell out the complete rank. Choose whether your spouse would like a certificate, yes or no. If selected yes, enter your spouse information. If not, select no. Then close this area and move on to required documents. And here you attach required documents to your application. You have 2 choices. Click Upload Files, locate your files. You may select multiple, then click Open. Then Done. To remove a file, click Delete. Or as an alternative, select your files from your desktop, click and drag to this position here. Then Done. And your files are displayed. And you'll notice the next step, member application actions, is now complete. Click Next Action. Your initial part of the application is now complete, and you must send it to the next individual. If you're an Air National Guard member, this would be your retention office manager. If you're Air Force Reserve, this will be your talent management consultant. And if you're an IMA member, you will go to your RIO detachment commander. If you do not know who this individual is, contact your FSS or CSS. You may search for this individual by their last name, first name, email, or a combination of the 3. We will use email. Once information is entered, click Search. Locate the desired member from the list and click Select. Enter any optional notes. You may expand this area here if needed. When ready, click Send. And here's the final verification step before sending your application over to your individual. Clicking Send means all of the information in your application is accurate and all of your attachments are complete and ready for review. You may also click Go Back to return to your dashboard for further editing and review. Once ready, click Send. And there you have it. Your application was successfully sent to the next step in the routing chain. You may now return to your dashboard by clicking Go to Dashboard. Once back, scroll down into your Active Applications area, and you will see In Coordination, your application is now assigned to this coordinator. From this dropdown, you can view further details by clicking Details. Here are basic details about your retirement application. Click Comments, and you may comment back and forth between everyone involved with your application. For instance, if you'd like to get a status update, enter comment here. When ready, click Post. Next, you have related documents. If more documents are required to be uploaded, you can do that so here. If further action is required by you, you'll be put underneath Ready for Action area. Your ROM or talent management will work with you if any updates are required before sending it off to the commander for approval. After the commander approves or disapproves your application, it will be sent to ARPC for finalization. You can quickly see your application's current coordination on this screen here. But let's go ahead and click View to open our application again. And once back inside, let's check out View Coordination Chain. And this will display every time your application was coordinated with another individual. Click Close, and then back to Dashboard. Then at any time, click the U.S. Air Force icon in the top left corner to return to the myFSS front page.
So that was a lot of information to take in. Those videos have been published on the myFSS training library, and I will direct you on how to get there at the end of this briefing. However, I want to take a break from the training video and go through a few slides and a few features that may have changed. The non-CAC login. In our previous system, we had a limited capability for people to log in without a CAC card. This new system will allow a full range of login options without conditions, so that our gray area retirees will not have the problems that they previously had, and they can submit the request for pay at their RRPA date or when they turn age 60. So we expect for the non-CAC login feature to help those members significantly. The next section is the pre-application system. We took a lot of time to craft this information, to collect data on what is our most frequently asked questions and which retirement types have the most particular aspects to them that is often overlooked or unknown to the members. So this has the most up-to-date information. It goes through restrictions, it goes through waivers, it goes through an introduction to each retirement type. Please have every technician at the myFSSs become familiar with this section, understand the information. When members come to you and ask questions, direct them to this section. It will be helpful. An informed customer is a happy customer. So that's our intent with the pre-application section. So please direct them to this section as often as possible. Another thing you may have noticed is that myFSS is much more open than the previous system. And what I mean by this is the applicant can manipulate their section, the ROM and the commander section, and the ROM and the commander, and I'll speak about this later as well, will also be able to manipulate the data fields in the application. So it is more dynamic and open than the previous system. What this should enable us to do is have more flexibility in the coordination process. So now the coordination can become more of a conversation between the member and the unit. But the applicant should not manipulate the ROM or the commander sections. That is not what this feature or the openness of this system is intended to do. So please have your technicians trained to inform the members and give as much training on this as possible. Do not manipulate the ROM or the commander section if you do not hold one of those positions. And we will speak about the openness of this system much more later on in this training. Another section that we took time to build are the tooltips, the little circles with question marks. This has information about specific fields in the application, and like the pre-application section, we really wanted to answer questions before they had to be asked. So have your technicians become familiar, have them direct customers to these tooltips, or at least let them know that they're available. The member contact information section. This is open text field, so you can type whatever you want in here, but it needs to be accurate because the address you place in this section will be the address that is on your retirement order. In the way that you type it, it will appear on your retirement order. And the same for the retirement certificates. So please, please, please let everyone know and train as many people as you can to double check and verify the address is the most current and up to date, no spelling errors. You put the state only in the state section, not in the city section. And we would ask you to use all capitalization. This is an enhancement that the system will get eventually, but it's not there yet. So for the sake of uniformity on your retirement order, we ask that you use all caps when you input data, both the member and if the technician is helping the member. Now to the biggest thing, the biggest change in our system, the coordination. This is what is referred to as the ad hoc feature, the ad hoc coordination method. And what it really means is when you go to coordinate your retirement application, you are no longer using roles and responsibilities. And what I mean by that is you are not coordinating your application to a specific office or the ROM, the unit commander, the group commander. You are routing it to an individual. And the search feature is based off of the myFSS profiles. So anyone who has a myFSS profile can be the member you select to coordinate your retirement application to. We do not want anyone and everyone to get this coordination. The AFI dictates that it goes to the ROM and that it goes to the member's commander. Those two individuals at minimum must have this retirement application to review, verify, and coordinate on. So when we are working through this training, you're going to hear me say, you can create an internal process that you can determine every retirement application goes through the CSS, the ROM, the unit, the group, the wing, but the AFI only mandates that it goes through the ROM and to the member's commander. Additionally, in this feature, the email address is the most accurate way to get your application to the person that you want it to go to. So for instance, if you have a Joseph Smith who is your ROM, there are a lot of Joseph Smiths out there. We want to make sure it's the right one. Use the email address. Use your GAL to determine what that is. I would advise units to publish their commanders, their ROMs, and anyone else you determine needs to be in this process. Publish their last name, first name, email address, and the title in which they hold or that role, because roles and responsibilities do not determine coordination any longer. And this will be spoken about a little bit more as we go further in depth on the coordination. But I wanted to foot stomp that here and get your ears attentive to the language of coordination. So the next video that we're going to be watching is what the ROM is going to do in the process once the member coordinates the application to them. And also, before I begin this, I'm going to let it play the first minute and 14 seconds because it's going to show you the login feature once again. I won't do this for the next two videos, but for this one, I want you to be exposed to as much of the system as possible without wasting your time.
This video is for our retention office managers and talent management consultants. There's a brief demonstration on how to manage reserve retirement applications on the myFSS platform. We begin by navigating to the myFSS front page at myfss.us.af.mil. And here we have three choices. Our normal everyday login will be CAC login. If we do not have a CAC ID, we could choose first-time non-CAC user registration to receive a user ID and password, and then choose non-CAC login from there. Click CAC login. Click sign in with PIV/CAC card. Choose your certificate. Click I agree, continue. You are now on the MyFSS front page. Let's begin by adding or verifying your personal email address. Click the top right profile icon and select profile. Then update personal email address. Here you can add up to 2 email addresses. First, notifications of applications awaiting your action. Click the edit icon and enter your email address. Then click save, then close. Scroll down to the Available Now area and locate the My Retirement tile. Click to open. And you are now at the Retirement home screen. We'll select ARC Retirements. You are now in the ARC Retirements application. Scroll down and locate the Active Applications area. Click to expand. Here you will see Ready for Action or In Coordination. Any retirement application awaiting your action will fall under Ready for Action. And here you'll see an application that I need to act on. Click View. And this opens the application. On the left is a quick checklist indicating that the Retention Office Manager action is up next. Review the member's application in detail by selecting Member Application Actions. Here you can see the application information, member contact information, retirement certificate information, and required documents. Application information. You can also change and edit these fields as necessary. For instance, to change the desired ceremony date. Next, we have their contact information, their retirement certificate information, and their attached documents. At the bottom, you can return back to dashboard expand all, view coordination chain, save progress, and next action. If we click view coordination chain, it gives us a history of every coordination this application has been through. But let's scroll back to the top and minimize this section here and go into our section, the Retention Office Manager, Talent Management Consultant Actions. After you reviewed the member's application, fill in and complete the following data. Once all fields are filled, you'll notice your checkbox right next to your Retention Office Manager actions. This is ready to go on to the next action. Click Next Action. You will check the box Retention Office Manager / Talent Management Consultant. Then click Assign to Individual. If you need to send the application back to the individual, you will enter their information in here. If the application is ready for Commander review, enter their information. You may search by using last name, first name, email, or a combination of the three. We'll try email. Get the email address, then click Search. Look at the desired person and click Select. Enter any necessary comments, then click Submit. If I were to choose Assign to ARPC, I get this warning message. Skipping this Commander approval requirement will cause the case to be rejected by ARPC. So we'll go back to Assign to Individual and click Submit. And there you have it. The application has now been coordinated with the next member in the chain, or back to the applicant. From here, go back to your dashboard. Now scroll down to your Active Applications area and check Ready for Action, which will now be empty. To return to the myFSS front page, click the U.S. Air Force icon in the top left corner.
All right, that is the ROM coordination actions and the talent management consultant. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that enough. I am so used to saying ROM, but talent management consultants out there, I'm not neglecting you. You are a vital part of this process as well. So the ROM and the TMC coordination actions. What is important to note here is that coordination is a conversation. Unlike the old system, the retirement application can be adjusted until it is submitted to ARPC. So I'm going to say that one more time. The retirement application can be adjusted until it is submitted to ARPC by the member's commander. This was not the case in the old system. Once the member routed their application to the ROM or TMC, the application was locked. So now we have the ability to coordinate and revise the application with the customer, the member. So the review of the retirement application in conjunction with any commitments that the member may have on their service, we need to look at this stage and determine what is best for the member and the unit and enter into dialogue with that customer. There have been no changes to the actual inputs and the information that is required from the retention office manager or talent management consultant. So there should be no surprises when you click on the ROM TMC accordion piece and you see the questions that are being asked and the information that is required. These should be familiar and you should be able to answer these with relative ease. And when you are finished with your actions, you have reviewed the application, you have made any changes that you deem fit with the acknowledgement and approval of the member. Now you want to coordinate on the application. But before you do, you want to select the View Coordination Chain button. This is not as important right now, but you want to make sure that you are reviewing anything that the previous coordinator has said. So they put in notes and you are able to review what the previous coordinator has input for you that will help you make the right decision. And as I said, at this stage, it should be from the member to the retention office manager or the talent management consultant. But this is a feature I want to get you all familiar with because, as I said, when we create internal processes, or better yet, when you all create internal processes on how you want the retirement application to be coordinated for your specific unit, group, Wing, this is the feature that you will utilize to ensure that members are going through the correct process and that they're not sending it to their friend or their buddy or someone outside of their chain of command to coordinate on. So you select next action, and as you see on the screenshot, you will self-identify as the retention office manager / talent management consultant. Then you will select assign to individual. The search bar will populate. And once again, this information is derived from the myFSS profile repository. Last name, first name, email. Like I previously said, the email is the most accurate way to get your retirement application where you want it to go and where your unit has determined that it needs to go. So please check and re-verify. But if you happen to make a mistake and you know that you sent it to the wrong person, you can go back into this application, click next action, and try again. Put the last name, first name, email of the correct person and hit submit. And that will reroute this application, whether you are the member who made the mistake, the ROM, the TMC, or the commander, and we are about to get to the commander section, you can reroute this application. But as the ROM and TMC, please do not identify as the member's commander and try to route it to ARPC, because if we see that there's only been one person who coordinated on this application, we will disapprove it. The recommendation authority cannot be delegated to you in this current system. So now we are going to turn our attention to what the commander or the Rio Debt commander will be doing in the coordination process. And I'm going to start it at 1:14 so that you do not have to watch the login feature again.
Scroll down to the Available Now area and locate the My Retirement tile. Click to open. And you are now at the Retirement home screen. We'll select Retirement. You are now in the ARC Retirements application. Scroll down and locate the Active Applications area. Click to expand. And here you have two choices: Ready for Action and In Coordination. All retirement applications awaiting your action will fall under Ready for Action. Click to expand. And here you'll see applications needing your permission. Locate the application to coordinate and click View. This opens the member's application, and here you can review all areas, including member application actions, which is information inputted by the member, including application information, contact information, certificate information, and required document attachments. These fields are editable. For example, if I need to change the desired ceremony date, simply make the change. Under required documents, review attachments for accuracy and eligibility by clicking View. Next, review the Retention Office Manager Talent Management Consultant actions. Click to expand. Review their inputs and review for accuracy. This area is dependent on the type of retirement and officer or enlisted. Click to close. At the bottom of this screen, you have a View Coordination Chain button. Click to open. And this will display a history of all coordinated actions with this application. And finally, you have your area, the Members Commander / RIO Detachment Commander. Click to expand. And here you have two choices: recommend approval or recommend disapproval. If you choose to disapprove the retirement application, you must enter justification here. And you'll notice on the left a check mark underneath your action. If you choose approval, no justification is required, and you click next action. And now you coordinate, complete, and assign. As a commander, you will choose the box Members Commander / Program Manager / RIO Detachment Commander. And here we have options. Choose Assigned Individual if this application needs to be returned to the member or any other desired person by using their last name, first name, email address, or a combination of the three. Let's use email address. Then click Search. Locate the desired member and click Select. To choose a different member, click Select Different Member. Enter any optional notes. Then click Submit to send to their coordination. If this record is ready to send to ARPC for finalization, click Assign to ARPC, and you receive this warning message. Enter any optional notes. You may expand this area here if needed. When ready, click Submit. And there you have it. The application has been sent to ARPC for finalization. Click Go to Dashboard. Scroll down, expand Active Applications, and then Ready for Action. You'll notice no applications are now awaiting your action. To return to the myFSS front page, scroll to the top, and click the U.S. Air Force icon.
All right, and that is how the commander should coordinate on the retirement application. And let me remind you that that was the member's commander. If you so choose to make an internal process that has the retirement application needing the recommendation of the unit, the group, and the wing, you saw that they could still click Assign to Individual, and they can keep this retirement going through the coordination process until you determine that it is good to go. And please utilize that View Coordination Chain button. This is how we will ensure that they are going where they need to go and not skipping any of the pertinent individuals. But as I've said before, and I will continue to say, we have the ability to adjust retirement application information until it is submitted to ARPC, retirement effective dates, ceremony dates, specific information that we have to request a withdrawal or change date for, we can complete on the front end. So please use this coordination process as a conversation to determine what is best for the member and determine what is best for the unit. The openness of this application should allow for the dialogue to occur and the revisions to happen. And as I said, the View Coordination Chain button, I cannot emphasize enough, this is where you will audit everything. You will review the notes. You will make sure that it's going to the right people and not people outside of your chain or somebody from a different base. This ad hoc coordination method is open to every myFSS profile. I don't want to scare you, but I do want you to know what type of system we are working with now. So for the recommendation, as I said previously, and I just want to foot stomp this a little bit, the AFI only requires that the member's commander makes a recommendation, not the group or the wing, unless you are someone assigned to one of those areas. So please create the internal processes that are right for your section, your unit, your group, your wing. Make the determination that you know is right for you. But when you go to submit this, after you have reviewed and you have made any changes, reviewed the information in the ROM and TMC section, and made sure that they are valid and accurate, now you're going to submit to ARPC. So by clicking the next button, self-identifying on the screenshot, you will see that now we have 2 check marks for the Retention Office Manager / Talent Management Consultant and the Members Commander, Program Manager, VO Detachment Commander. And then we selected Assign to ARPC. This pop-up, this banner, prior to submitting to ARPC, the Retention Office Manager, Talent Management Consultant, and Members Commander, Rio Detachment Commander must review. By submitting here, you are saying that it has went through the coordination process. This is your seal of approval on everything that is occurring. And that is the end of the coordination process for 90% of all applications, if not 95%. The last thing I want to show you is the change date and withdrawal request. This is a slightly different, so I want to make sure that you are aware of this before I speak about one last section, which pertains to the coordination that I'm sure that you all have many, many questions about. So let us watch one additional video, and it's titled Commander Coordination Highlights. I forgot to change the banner, but it is for change date and withdrawal request. And I will start it at 1 minute, 14 seconds.
Click Save, then Close. Now scroll down to the Available Now area and locate the My Retirement tile. Click Open, and you are now at the Retirement home screen. We'll select ARC Retirements. You are now in the ARC Retirements application. Click the Application Process tile to get more information about the change or withdrawal request. Prepare all supporting documents, such as leadership statements, medical statements, financial hardship MFRs, and school MFRs. And when ready, scroll down to your active applications area and click to expand. And then choose In Coordination, and you will see your retirement application listed. You may view or select this menu and choose Change Date, Withdrawal Request, or Details. The next step is the same for both processes. We'll choose Change Date as an example. A justification memorandum endorsed by the members' chain of command is required as an attachment. Once this vital document is ready, begin by entering your justification in the space provided. Then upload your files. Here you have two choices. Click the Upload Files button. Locate your files. You may select multiple if desired, and click Open. Then Done. Or as an alternative, click the files on your desktop and drag and drop to the space provided. Then Done. Once all your files are attached, click Send. And there you have it. Your change date request has been submitted to ARPC for consideration. Identify the status area here. To return to the myFSS front page, scroll to the top, click the U.S. Air Force icon.
Change date and withdrawal request. What they did not show you in the video is that it is no longer embedded within the system that you get to recommend or approve recommendation or give a approved recommendation for a change date or withdrawal and then send it through the coordination to the wing commander. It is initiated by the member and it is initiated after an application has been routed to ARPC, because you remember that this is an open system that you can revise and manipulate the fields until it has been submitted to ARPC. So the change date and withdrawal request should be stemming from some event or something that transpired after the application has been routed to ARPC that we could not have foreseen. And now we need to change that retirement effective date or withdraw the retirement request completely. So if I'm a member, I need to go to my dashboard, the myFSS area, figure out the waiver information by clicking on the waiver process, getting the template that's provided within that section, and then routing it through my chain of command. And this is important. Although the application itself has an approval authority for the recommendation, that is only for the members commander. The application requires members commander's recommendation. The approval authority for a change date request, withdrawal retirement application request, and even a 6-month waiver request must be approved by the wing commander. So the wing commander should see this memorandum that has been routed, not within the system, but through your internal processes. And then once that is signed and the member has that document, they can go back into their dashboard. As you see on this screenshot, they can click change date or withdraw request. And the same process will occur. That pop-up will populate. You will attach the document. You will provide your justification and hit submit. The status and substatus is what will inform the technician that a change date or withdrawal request has been requested. And since I mentioned the 6-month waiver, I will let you know that if your member, someone that you are responsible for, submitted for a retirement effective date that is within 6 months, when you review their application process, in red letters beside that data field, it will say 6-month waiver required. And then you should see in the attached documentation the memorandum that you have already coordinated on. So it should be no surprise that a 6-month waiver is attached, because it had to go through you before they could submit their retirement application. So we expect that this will mitigate the need and the frequency in which we have to process change date request and withdraw retirement application request. And before I turn this over, I want to mention one last thing on coordination. Roles and responsibilities are not determining this. It is the accuracy in which we can train our members to route it to the correct ROM or TMC, the correct commander. And it is the way in which we solidify our internal processes. And by our, I mean you all, your internal process, and socialize that to your people to ensure that they send it to the right individuals. Use the view coordination action button to audit that coordination to ensure that it went in the right way. So now I'm going to turn this over to Major Eggman to say a few things.
Thank you, Sergeant Gunter. Thank you for everyone for being here today. I know that this has been a long time coming, but this has been a really, really heavy lift for the team, Sergeant Gunter and all who are out there who have been assisting. They moved really fast, and the system looks wonderful. But what I do want to make sure to note is that this is what we call the minimal viable product here. So we have over 160 enhancements and improvements that the team is going to be working through after our go live date of my retirements. And those are going to change things slightly here and there. They're going to assist our team on the back end in calculating things less manually and more efficiently. However, at the beginning of this, ARPC is going to slow down. Currently, our service level agreement to the field, I will just plug what we're doing today. That is for a reserve retirement. We will process within 60 days of receipt of application. Our regular retirements are 20 years TAFMs. We do those within 120 days of retirement effective date. If we can get further ahead, we always will, and we always do. What I want to say to you all right now is that the reason that we can't get any faster is because a majority of our applications come in within 6 months. And that hurts everybody who does it the way that they're supposed to, 6 to 12 months out. I get this all the time, and people get very upset. If we can get it to them sooner, we will. And then for our gray area retirees or our members participating up until their age 60 or reduced retired pay age, we try to do those 30 to 60 days out from that effective date. A lot of our gray area retirees submit these in the past, and so we have to keep going back and working on the members' birth dates who are in the past. For your members still actively participating at the unit, we cannot complete their application until all of their points have rolled up. So when you have a member who is working till age 60 and they are a technician and they are also drilling, and their last drill is going to be the day of their 60th birthday, we cannot physically process those until they are done with their participation and their points have rolled up. So that's just a little shameless plug to let you all know that is what we're currently operating under today. And with this new system, our technicians on the back end, what you don't see, are going to have a lot of struggles and challenges. They are just being trained on what the system looks like now, this week. We are just starting training last week and this week, and it's going live next week. And so on to that next point of when it goes live. So our goal and intent right now is to stop applications from coming in at the end of this week. My recommendation, if you all can help us here, is to stop them sooner and recommend that they will apply next week, which is why if you saw the digital transformation notices from ARPC, we tried to stop 1 November and later retirement applications coming in, not to harm the members, but to help the ones who already have their applications in and to help our team here, which is approximately 30 people, processing all of those. We have 160 regular retirements still to process. We have approximately 250 reserve retirements. And right now we have approximately 1,600 gray area retirees or those that are still participating to process. Our goal in this next week is to get through all of those, because up this Friday, all of our cases are going to migrate. We are still working on the reduced retired pay age application cases migrating. We have about 1,800 of those. And so we ask that you're patient with us through the transition, as we know that many of the other applications that have gone live have had some bugs and some fixes we have had to work through. I want to mention that we do not expect our technicians here to be the police of applications. So we are putting a lot of onus on the units and on you all to assist. Some FSSs I have heard want to be the final look on a retirement application before it comes to ARPC. This new system will allow you to do that. So if your unit decides that the FSS is going to be the final look, that your retirement's POC or technician is going to be the final one to check everything off, then that will be great, because that will help us get through these quicker, and you can do that. If your unit says, I want the member to apply and I want the commander to do it, then that's going to be allowed also. We will not police these, but what I have asked the technicians, and we are talking about, is an officer needs to be a commander. So if we are seeing, senior master sergeants or tech sergeants being the commander in these roles, then we're going to have conversations about that internal. I do have some people, I know you all help gray area retirees, so I want to talk about some of the initiatives we're working on. DFAS does have a website, like Chief had said, so this should be easier for them. We had some issues with Mac users not being able to log in with the username and password. We believe that the system is going to improve their experience and make it easier for them to log into the application. And on that, we are starting to ask all of our gray area retirees to get a myFSS account, because as Sergeant Gunter said, only the profiles that currently exist because a member logged in are going to be able to have some sort of communication back and forth. So we did update the DFAS gray area website. We did add to this quarter's gray area newsletter the same information. A smart doc is what comes out from MyPay when we do, like, the SGLI increase that just occurred on April 11th. Is that today? Today, a smart doc is going out to any gray area retiree that had logged into MyPay and created an account. Since MyPay came out in 2006, we still have a very old population that has not gotten into that system yet. 30% of gray area retirees have. So that lives, and that's across all branches. So there's a very large margin that have not. So if you are in communication, or you have somebody at your base who does a quarterly briefing, or please have them give that information that gray area retirees can get a MyPay account, so that when we push these messages out, they can also get those. We've been working with TFSC to make sure that they can help those individuals as well. And the Retirees Affair website, we put it out there. I want to, for those who weren't on at the beginning, Chief had said, I've already had people who have AGRs who are going to the active duty retirements tile. The only Guard and Reserve members who should go to the active duty retirements tile to apply for retirement are those that are going to get a 20-year TAFMS retirement, that are currently on stat tour or headquarters assigned AGR. Every other Air Reserve component individual will go to My Retirements. MyPERS shuts down 1 May. We are working here on how we are going to continue to process those requests that exist in the old system if we have not gotten through them all, as well as the new one. I don't have the most up-to-date information or answers for you on that. We're taking it as it comes day by day. And then the last thing that I want to mention before we open up to questions is, if you haven't heard yet, ARPC is intending on 1 May to open up a line to only MPFs that is going to allow questions to come through. What I beg and ask of you is, and what I will do for retirements is, if you haven't gone out here and the answer is here, or the answer is in the AFI, or if the answer is somewhere else, that you do a lot of research before you give us a call. If you have bugs, if there are errors, there have been crazy things that have gone on in every other application in myFSS. We want to hear about those. So we will do our best to put as much messaging out there with what we want that process to be. And I look forward to continuing to work with you all at the units, as well as our team here, to figure out what those issues are and get them fixed as quickly as possible. Anything else from you? Chief, you have anything else before we open for questions?
I do not. Thank you, Major Eggman. I just opened the chat though. So people, feel free to come off of your microphone. You can raise your hand. You can type into the chat.
Where will we find
Okay,
it?
I've already talked about the slides. I have posted the slide link to the headquarter ARPC information toolbox up above in the chat. And I've also tagged everyone. There's 4,320 members in that toolbox team. I've tagged every one of you that are members and with the slide link. So that should be pretty easy to find. Link for slides not working. Yeah, you have to copy that whole URL. It didn't post nicely. But if you copy that whole URL, it will work.
Chief, this is Sergeant Jenkins from McConnell Air Force Base. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go for it.
Okay. In VPC GR, we was able to actually do a search and see everyone and track the coordination status if it's at ARPC or in works or who it's sitting with. Are we still able to do that on this application? And if so, how?
No, ma'am, you are not able to do that at this moment in this current system. That is a function of having roles and responsibilities. And that is one of the limb facts that we are aware of and that we want to track. But as with every new system, we have to learn how to overcome certain obstacles and adjust our processes. And I understand that oversight is incredibly important. And this is something that we are currently working to figure out an innovative solution. And we are welcome to all types of best practices that will be birthed from the field because you all are brilliant. And also, Senior Master Sergeant, well, I'm sorry, I'm going to answer Senior Master Sergeant Anthony's question after this. Did I answer your question sufficiently?
You did. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. And where will we find retirement orders? When the retirement order is published, they will be in the members dashboard, that area where you can go to active applications and completed applications. They will be able to pull their retirement order directly from that section.
Senior Master Monroe, you said we have members that want to retire 1 November 2023, but we're not able to input through VPC. Since these applications were rejected through MyPERS, and if they cannot request retirement till next UTA, will they need to complete a 6-month waiver, even though they originally submitted 8 or so months out? Yes, the answer is yes. And team, I appreciate your support in the very difficult time we have had here at ARPC, trying to do what doesn't feel like is best for the member, but truly is. Data migration has been a struggle, to say the very least, amongst a lot of different applications. And what we didn't want is for members to not know or to lose their application or lose sight of their application. So we are requesting that you work that memo and have the signatures and input it, because it is going to give them, and it will honestly help people navigate to the correct areas to see where those templates are and what the process should be going forward.
And for everyone looking for these slides, there are also training guides. At the end of each of these videos were pictures, and it said help, and it's on the community homepage. If you go to the top right-hand corner, there's a help link that can take you to the myFSS training library. This is where all the training videos, all the training aids, and that means in the written training guide format, will be published there.
Senior Master McManus, when I say stat tour and headquarters, sorry, in the reserve, we have Guard and Reserve here. Headquarters assigned AGRs are synonymous to stat tour. So I do not mean anybody at the Joint Force headquarters. I only mean for the Guard stat tour, and I only mean for the Reserve headquarters assigned AGRs apply there. Carrie Page, will we be able to submit the 2656 on behalf of gray area retirees? So ask a question feature is, okay, so right now we do not like that here. And the reason we don't like it is because it makes it very, very difficult for us to get the right ticket at the right time and to help those gray area retirees. We have the capability currently to make an application on their behalf. When we talk about the new system, we do not have that capability. That is one of the other 160 things that have been put to the side as we get a system for people to input retirements to hit the majority That is not going to have a capable function right now. So what we request is that you try to help them get into the application and submit it on their own behalf.
And with the non-CAC login feature that should be functioning at a much higher rate than the previous system, that should not be a problem with gray area retirees.
Chief Kuma, I think I clarified about AGRs. AGRs in the state getting an active duty retirement go to my retirements. For Ashley Eisinger, our requirement here is to meet the requirements of the DOTI, which it states that we want to make sure that members don't apply for retirement and then end up having to owe back money. I can't tell you how many change date and withdrawals that I see because it never went through coordination with someone to let them know that they still had a service commitment for a GI Bill. So you internal to your wing can determine if it's the wing TMC or the group TMC. We just want to make sure that your members are protected and that they have been counseled on their remaining service commitment for those benefits.
And Chief Master Sergeant Brannock, when we speak about the TMC, that will be decided by whoever is above them, which would be the debt for the IMAs. And for the OGD completion, the videos didn't show it in this one because it was reserve retirement and it was an enlisted member. However, when you go to the commander accordion piece and you have to recommend approve, disapprove, underneath that section will automatically populate the OGD information that they have to coordinate on. So have they done this? Did they do that? And all of those are going to populate. So it is pretty intuitive for the officer side of the house.
Master and Guessford, Master and Jackie Guessford, I think we already clarified AGRs or members that qualify for an active duty. They should not use the active duty function. They should use the My Retirements function. So Chris Krieger said, what is the best practice for retirements in VPC in coordination and work in progress statuses? They need to either be with us. If what you're saying is what's the best practice for those that are still there, they need to get here to ARPC. And I think that if you go to ARPC's webpage, we have all of the digital transformation notices. And in one of those, it was pushed out that if it was not completed and to ARPC by the 13th of April, that a new retirement application would need to be submitted in myFSS. Can the MPF pull the retirement order? If they're still participating, submit to ARMS and to PRADA?
Well, so we do submit everything to ARMS. That is a feature that is on the back end. So you will be able to pull the retirement order from the members' ARMS. And in regard, no, they don't have ARMS.
Chief? Or Mr. Trujillo, does ARMS go directly into PRADA as well?
Yes, so when things are pushed to ARMS, PRADA is just simply a viewer. It's the personnel records display application for records that are in ARMS as the source system.
So all of our applications allow for us to push them directly into ARMS. That has not always been a function that every application type has had here at Air Reserve Personnel Center. Previously, we were doing exactly what you are all doing in the field, which was printing them. We walked them downstairs versus mailing them, but that's why sometimes there was a delay in what you could see. So hopefully this will enable you all to have a faster capability to access. Let me see. Master Shoup says they may have missed this, but what will happen to any retirements routing through VPC currently will be transferred. Okay, so I think I answered that, and so did Mr. Trujillo. Active applications will migrate, but if it's a work in progress as well, Mr. Trujillo?
Yeah, well, work in progress as not sent to ARPC yet, those will not be migrated. However, everything that has been submitted and completed to ARPC will be migrated.
And then I'm a state RSO that assists gray area guard.
And hasn't received it. It's not going to migrate.
Senior Master Sergeant jumped. Go ahead, sir. So I'm a state RSO that assists gray area guard and reserve who apply for retired pay through their MyPERS. Will this be something I can still do in this system? Is this system something I can get access to as an RSO or no?
That's a good question. I don't know that off the top of my head, so let me get back to you with this question. If you could put your information, Galaxy S20FE 5G.
Master and Volker says, what happens if the member's already retired and left and in MyFSS lose access to their product records? This is no different than it is today. I don't think, Sergeant Volker. So the only way that the CSS will have the ability, yeah, so with Sergeant Volker, can you either come off mute or let's talk a little bit more about this, because I understand that's a struggle now, but I don't think it's anything that we have a new remedy to fix. If you have somebody who's retired and left, it's no different than today, correct? You could see them in VPC after they were retired. Do you know the answer?
I don't know the answer to that.
Hi, this is Senior Master Sergeant Eastridge from the 139.
Hi.
I wanted to come online here and just say that, yes, currently we can still pull retirement orders out of VPC for retirees from 3 years ago. Not that I'm, against retirees going to either their record in myFSS or Total Force Service Center to grab it, because then it relieves us from having to do it for them. But that is the current concern. A lot of members are told by our wing commander and other commanders, oh, just contact the FSS, they'll help you out. Because, they retired from our unit, therefore they think they can always come back to us for assistance. I think that's probably the concern for a lot of guard bases. We're gonna have our members requesting us to pull their documents.
Thank you so much for that feedback. We don't have a fix right now. We will write it down.
Thank you. And do I recall correctly earlier, right now it's just the squadron commander, everything is ad hoc. So we'll work here locally to come up with a spreadsheet with everybody's DOD ID numbers so that commanders can copy and paste that into myFSS to ad hoc it to the next level. But we will not be able to search for a member's retirement. And in order to see them all, we should probably have MPF or a member of our MPF team ad hoc on every application before we QC it and send it to ARPC.
That is correct.
Okay.
And let's talk a little bit about that. So from higher up, there was grave concern about restricting, and understandably so, restricting how and where these retirement applications went due to some of the myEvals issues that occurred. So that is why this has been opened up so wide, and it is going to require a lot of internal conversation and policy and requirements to each and every unit's individual needs and desires. Will CSS have the ability to view the status? Again, no, not unless you are put into that role, and that is a requirement of your specific squadron, unit, or wing. And I understand, Sergeant Volker, thank you. Lieutenant Colonel McCollum, I believe you said this, but I can make myself the commander in the roles. There is no making anybody anything. You have to communicate with the members of your detachment, sir, that this is the process on how to apply. So once they go in, whoever you all determine will be the ones in the Rio detachments to acknowledge the role of the TWC, TMC, and ROM, then those will have to come to you after.
And if you mean self-identifying yourself as the commander in the coordination process, that is exactly right. You select that box, and that is what ARPC is working off of to determine, did a commander coordinate on this application?
Okay, perfect. That's what I needed to know. Thank you.
I don't see any more questions in the chat. How can a retired member retrieve their NGB 22? Sergeant Whalen?
So unfortunately, because you guys won't be able to use VPC to get documents, they'll have to go to their record through myFSS or however retirees are currently accessing their records. MilConnect.
Benefit?
Yeah, we publish them. We publish the NGB 22 to ARMS the same way as the retirement order does.
Yep.
And I really do want to talk a little bit more about that. So the way our system works, just so you all know, is that when we complete a retirement, we are able to send a ticket if it's a for a DD 214 to that team. If it's an AGR who's retiring off of an AGR order, we are able to submit a ticket to outbound. Some of those functions in there right now, and outbound, sorry, is the one who sends out the flags and the certificates and et cetera. It is very imperative that the information that those individuals put into these applications is exactly what they would like to see, because we have no way to confirm or adjust or change. It's based upon what the member inputs. So if there is a grave typo, if their address is wrong and they put it in, we are looking at the address that they provide to us. This will also stem a ticket to the NGB 22 as well, once completed for Air National Guard members. Do we have anybody else who wants to ask a question not through the chat function? We are here for recommendations and concerns, and I will open myself up for any person who would like to if they thought of something later, if they started working through the process and they want to come to me direct and let me know that this wasn't working, I am open. We are trying to make this as easy and seamless as possible. We are, like I said, migrating this weekend and on Friday, and Monday we'll tell how everything went and if we have further updates.
Perfect.
Chief, I think we are good to go. I don't hear anyone else.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone, for attending the training. And we will have the same training tomorrow and on Thursday. Thank you again. Have a great day.